Um, what is it? Fuck, my hand got stuck in my hair. What is up, everyone? And today's rant is going to be more of an actual rant on my own life than it is on the topic itself. By the title suggests, but I will just say it out there for anyone who can't read. Today's rant is about family. Um, in this very specific scenario that pertained to myself. Last night, my brother received a message from a cousin of mine, and this cousin, growing up, he was a brother. He was anytime we'd go anywhere, anything we would do, he was the absolute closest person to me. Literally, I considered him closer than my regular brothers, which is awkward because I would only see him like once or twice a month, maybe, and I didn't have Facebook or anything back then, so I did, or a phone, or just any way to communicate with him whatsoever. I just knew that whenever I was around him, I was so happy that I just adored him and I loved him to death. This is a microphone, by the way. If you guys are wondering what that is, don't ask about my setup. And it's just so funny, like as a kid, I would sleep in the same room as my brothers. We'd all get a bed, or at one point we all shared beds because we're all like little tiny peoples and stuff. But I only saw this guy maybe once every couple months or something, but I adored him. I looked up to him. I loved him so much, and he just gave me so much happiness that I considered him the closest person to me ever. Anytime anything was wrong, I felt like he could make things better. He was like a Superman kind of figure to me. The man messages me last night, and I mean, I'm 20 years old now, and he's what, 21, 22, and just to go from where we were as kids to who we are today, it's like the high school effect. You can have a bully, you can have this hot girl, you can have whatever it is, but in the realm of reality, high school really only pertains to high school. In 5, 6, 7 years from now, if you're a senior, you might as well not even know the people that your life was based around, whether you were like the fucking guy like playing on varsity baseball or whatever it was. And a couple years from now, it's not gonna matter, and it's just so sad to see this person that I loved and cared about so much, and he's at this point almost irrelevant in my life. um I'm gonna hands down, just talk about my family in this video. Hands down, my dad is probably one of the best people I could nominate as a human being on this earth. He's a very respectful man, very humble. He's an absolutely beautiful man. Yet somehow I have not had the privilege of sitting down and having a regular conversation with him in more than probably 5 years. I've not seen my dad's face in more than 4 years. It's depressing. You grow up with these people, you live with these people, you eat on the same table, you share the blood in your veins with them, and what the hell does family mean other than a subject noun, right? It's so pitiful. People grow up, they care about sex, they care about money, they care about the bills, and they let the world take its toll on themselves. They give up, they become bitter. They stop caring about what they would consider mundane, a conversation, just a hello, how are you? I remember there was a day growing up where I called one of my cousins, and this is why he wasn't the guy that I loved. Because this was a different cousin. The cousin's name that I'm referring to is his name's Obeid, by the way. In the case that we're gonna call him Obey, just Obey. It's a simple way to remember him. But Obey was my knight in shining armor, if you will. And his brother, his name was Malik or Malik, whatever. There was a day when their specific family was super close to ours. So there was a day we called, or at least Anis, my older brother, he called Malik, and he just wanted to say hi. He just wanted to say, how are you? And he immediately responds with, you know what? I'm getting sick of this. You don't call over here just to ask how we're doing or whatever it is. Unless you need something, don't call me, because there's no reason to have a conversation about, hi, how are you? It's a waste of time. You're wasting my time. It was this really bullshit conversation about saying, stop expressing your feelings and showing that you care for someone. Just checking up on someone, see how they are. Like, you literally just walk up to your mom or dad or whatever friend and just be like, hi, how are you today? Just giving that sense of consideration towards their own life. You just calling to check up on them. Doesn't have, it could be boring. It just be like, I'm fine, it's whatever. It's not bad. It's just maybe you enjoyed that comfort or that sense in that conversation or that sense of family. Um, and Obeyed last night, he messages. I got a message on my older brother Anis got a message on his Instagram saying, "I miss you, man. If you ever need anything, like I don't got a lot of stuff. I got a car. I got a place to crash. I know I don't have a lot to offer, but I'm always here for you." Like, and this happens in accordance with the dad situation, right? Like, imagine my dad called me up today and be like, "Hey, I know we haven't talked, but I'm here for you. If you ever need anything, I can always help you out." And it's that same conversation where we had like 10 years ago, where he was saying, "If you don't need anything, do not call me. Don't ask, don't check up on, don't see how you're doing." And it's like, where's that sense of humanity? If you only care about, this goes beyond family, this is human beings in general. If you can't talk to someone without needing something from them, what are they to you? An object? Like, is it a use and abuse system? It's a friends with benefits system. What the hell is it? I mean, the same way that you have a life, you have to go eat food, you have to go take a shower, you care for your own hygiene, you have a job, or you go to school, or you take care of yourself. You have this complex of feelings and your own perspective, and you have a religion, or you have whatever you follow. You have such an extraordinary life. Well, just understand that that life is just one person. Everyone has an extraordinary complex life. Everyone has feelings. Everyone has goals and ambitions and things they want to do. It's pathetic that you could just denounce someone else's existence. This pertains to my mother and my father. Rewind back to when I said my father is probably the best person you can ever meet in your life, and then fast forward until today, where I haven't talked to him in about 5 years. My dad is the nicest person you would ever meet in your life, but he is the worst father. And no one would know what he is as a father other than his own children. And right now, he has none of them. He literally, the man has 5 kids, and none of them are in contact with him. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful man. Horrible father. And if anyone wants to go ahead and defend him on that factor, well, I just gotta let you know something. Are you his child to let me know what he treated you like as a father? Because your father, your mother, I only know them as another human being. You know them as your parents. I'm not their child, so I don't know how they treat you. Case in point, because there's a lot of family issues in my family. My mom, sadly, is not any better. And I've never put that on video. And I'm going to put this into words right now because I was never willing to put this in words because my mom acts irrationally as fuck. So if my mom wants to go ahead and act irrational, that's fine. There's a guy that wants to kill me because of her. I don't care about her feelings right now. Growing up as a child, my father's home was not a good place to live because of my stepmother. Um, Basically, my sister ended up in a mental institution where she was hospitalized, and my brother ended up prison from 13 to about 24. The man, half of his life he spent in prison, okay? Or jail or juvenile hall, whatever you want to call it. That household literally destroyed us. The reason I have so many problems in my house is because I had no foundation as a child. The reason my brother can't hold a job or can't pay for his own rent is because of that foundation he received as a child, which was nothing. The reason my sister is living a pathetic life, should I say, is because of the shitty foundation she was giving. I can relate this to a household. I can relate this to a job. But you know what? This is a gaming channel, so I'm going to relate it to Minecraft. Inside of Minecraft, you can build up a house with blocks. Now, if you pick up the first pile of shit that you can find, if you could pick up dirt and make a dirt house, well, let me tell you something. When it rains, it's going to pour. The house is going to crumble. It is that simple. You had so little foundation. You had so little thought out that your children do not stand a chance against the real world. All 5 of us. And anytime anything happens, I bring up this factor, okay? You as a human being decided that you were going to have sex and you were going to have a child. So whatever happened to me as a child was because of you. You were my parent and you were the one who was obligated to take care of me. So my dad and my mother had gotten divorced. Because of CPS and child abuse, I was to be removed from that household. And because my father loves to deny the fact that we were abused in the household, my sister, as of right now, is hospitalized at least once a month. My brother spent half of his life in prison. My other brother, Anis, developed an eating disorder and was morbidly overweight. And because of his name Anis and the word anus, he was essentially bullied to the point of suicide in school. So he was overweight and suicidal at a young age. My younger brother had the most of the beatings, essentially, and that child was beaten every day. And if you guys think beating is bad, no, beating is not bad until you get creative with it. Because I can pick up a belt right now and beat my child with it. No, I can go tell you to stand in a corner and face that corner until your feet turn purple, blue, and green and you collapse on the floor. There's a difference between discipline and abuse. There is a very fine line between discipline and abuse. If you want to beat your children to discipline them, there's a difference between discipline and abuse. Because I'm not against whipping your child with the belt. I'm not against it. Now, if you leave it to the point where they can't sit down properly, or if they're crying on the floor for 7 hours, you might have crossed that line. Me? Oh, what did I get? I took everything around me and I internalized it. My father would not speak to me until I got a 4.0. And even when I got a 4.0, it was not good enough for him. So I was placed in an honor rolls program for kids who have perfect grades. I was essentially always taking perfect grades. Every month I would receive student of the month. I was a literal perfect student in school. And the only reason why is because if I did not do this, my father essentially denounced me as a son. Either I was going to be perfect or I was never good enough for him. Let me relate this to Japan. If there are family households in Japan that you bring honor to your family, kids actually care about honor to their family. And in American society, all you care about is growing up and learning how to twerk. If children in Japan did not meet their parents' standards, they would literally kill themselves because they felt like they brought shame to their household. So essentially, I internalized everything. I took perfect grades, and it was never good enough for my father. No matter what I did, it was never good enough for my father's acknowledgement. And my mother wasn't even there. My mom and dad had gotten divorced, so my mother wasn't even there. All that I cared about was getting praised by senpai, which was my father. I wanted to feel like I was good enough for the man, and nothing I did was ever good enough. Student of the month, perfect grades, everything. I was literally considered a prodigy by my family because when I was in third grade and my sister was in high school, I was doing her homework and I would explain her homework to her. I always went above and beyond. I used to spend every single night. I developed insomnia because of how much I started overthinking everything. And I would spend every night going on Wikipedia and reading Wikipedia articles to learn anything and everything. I learned what a V6 was in a car when I was in elementary school for whatever reason that was. Anytime I got a hold of a computer, which I eventually would in high school, I spent all of my time just learning nonstop, and I never stopped it. If I had homework, I had to spend 4 hours rereading the same paragraph to make sure I memorized it, so that way when a test comes in at school, I can take a perfect shot at the test. I essentially was so far ahead of my own grade level that I no longer found reason to make friends. Literally nothing they did made sense to me. Kids were focused on the fifth grade about, getting into puberty and masturbating and girlfriends and going out to parties, and I was worrying in the sixth grade about World War III and how if there was nuclear warfare we're all gonna die. I was so far ahead of my own grade level, I never even fit in at that point. Recess was spent inside of classrooms, and I just talked to teachers all day. And I would literally go to teachers and be like, why are you alive? What is your purpose in living? A sixth grader was going to his teachers asking him, what is your purpose in being alive? And I actually believe I made one of my teachers quit, and I'm not even kidding right now. I was making people rethink their lives and wondering about the impact they made on the world. I never fit in. I never have fun because I'm overly serious about anything and everything, inclusive to the fact that I have to worry about a man who is trying to kill me and my brothers because my mom wanted to date essentially probably a drug dealer. I don't even know who the guy is. All I'm trying to point out is that, and it relates all back to that Instagram message last night. the way my family raised me, the way my family raised all of its children, is almost every child in my family now has some kind of developed mental disorder. Everyone in my family has attempted suicide. Everyone has problems because of my mother and my father and their irresponsibility and their refusal to take care of their own family. So this specific video is to Obeid or Obey or Dr. Khaliji or whatever you want to call it, and that's actually a reference to him. He would understand. Um, it hurts that children grow up, they see what the world really is, they let it turn them bitter, and it provides a catalyst for them to voluntarily give up their own humanity. It sucks people grow up and give up. It really does. Don't call me asking how I am or asking how any of my brothers are for the first time in what seems to be years after your father was a priest and you spend your free time smoking weed. I mean, for fuck's sake, I just said I was 4.0, right? What happened to all of us? I'm 20 years old. I should be halfway done with my PhD right now. Another 2 years, I would have my doctorates in something. I started going to college since I was 16. As of right now, I should actually have a at least a bachelor's degree. But that's why, even if you have the option in Minecraft to make a dirt house, because it's the easier option, anyone can live an easier life. You have to voluntarily take the harder options so you can live a better life. Yeah, the term ignorance really is bliss. Because at the end of the day, when you have kids, all the injustices that your parents put onto you, are you just going to repeat that to an even higher degree? I'm terrified to have children. I think I'm going to be worse than my own father. I am absolutely terrified to have kids. Whether that relate to adopting a child or having one of my own. It just sucks. I have more than 100 cousins, probably more than 20 aunts and uncles. Hi, Muffin. What the hell happened? This video isn't so much regarded to my own subscribers as it is to that individual person. So if this video doesn't make a lot of sense, or if I just seem like I was actually ranting rather than like a coordinated rant, meaning I had like a topic and I was gonna discuss it, this video is actually directed more to him than anyone else. It just sucks because he was my best friend, and I remember as kids we made the promise that the two of us were gonna move in together and build a castle and fill it with cats. And then I remember stepping into his house a couple years back, and I was like, Obeyed, and all I have to say was his name basically, and he would jump up and just give me a fucking hug. The guy was built, like he's pretty big, and he was muscular and he was tall. He would jump up and give me like a giant air hug, and he would like spin me around and shit. This isn't gay. This is family. This is someone you feel loved by, and love is not sex. So maybe that's some food for thought for some of you. But he would jump up and just give me a hug and be like, hey, when did you guys get here? And he would just be so fucking happy. I remember walking into his house one day, and as soon as I opened the door, he would actually run to me versus, I go to him, or like we'd just be super happy to see each other. Like, but as soon as we both knew we were in the same room, we would just get so fucking happy. I remember walking into his house one day, and this is the day that everything changed. And I called his name and I was like, hey, where is he, man? And he was like, he's in his room. I was like, oh, okay. So I went to his room, and I called his name, and I'm staring at him saying Obeid, Obeid, and he wouldn't respond. He was just looking at his phone, and I was like Obeid, and then he just kept staring at his phone like he like completely couldn't hear me. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, Obeid, and he was like, yeah, not right now. Don't bother me, or something. And he was talking on his phone to his girlfriend, and that's when everything changed. That's when you can throw away your childhood for sex or for girls or for whatever it is, or for weed or for drugs or. I'm making a video. Muffin, can you not? Um, and it just sucks that your whole childhood changes like that. It's that fast, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. And I've been using this term a lot this past 2 weeks, and I'll say it again. Time is gonna keep passing by regardless if you want to spend your time or not. Either you're spending your time or you're wasting it. And regardless if you don't even want to pick an option, whatever you want to do, time is still going to keep going by. The world is going to keep spinning every day, whether or not you want to be on it or whether or not you want it to spin. It's going to happen. We all grow older in every second. And if I could give advice to any of you, if there's someone you truly do love or someone you truly do care about, this is not boyfriend or girlfriend. This does not relate to boyfriend or girlfriend, because oxytocin and hormones and chemicals are two different things. If you have a husband, if you have a wife, if you have children, if you have parents, if you have a best friend, if you have a fucking cat, I don't care what it is. If you love something, let them know. And this isn't me saying go out of your way to go tell the girl at school you like her. That liking someone and loving them are two different things. Attraction versus... No, that's not the right choice of words. Infatuation versus dedication. Because there's a difference between I want to fuck you and I love you. And if you're 13, I'm sorry to say it, but yeah, it's usually I want to fuck you. You don't want to consent to it, but your body already has. So, if you have someone in your life and you love them, don't just tell them, I love you, right? Let them know. And words are cheap. Words are cheap. Why? I'm part of ISIS. Am I actually part of ISIS? Because I said it? Words are cheap. It's what I do. It's who you are that truly defines what you are. So if you love someone, show them that you love them. Not just say on Instagram for the first time in probably 2 years, oh, hi, man, I miss you. I say I love this channel, and I moved into a garage, and I developed blood clots on my feet with my dedication of love for this channel. If you love someone, let them know. Because whether you want it to happen or not, this world is going to keep spinning, and one day they're not going to be here. Whether it's because they moved on, they moved out, or they're not on this planet anymore. I'd like to say when I was a kid, the most important thing to me was my mom and my dad. Those were the two most important things to me. Regardless of the child abuse and everything else going on, the divorce and everything happening, the number two things, the only things that I cared about in my life was my mom, my dad, my brothers, and everyone else. And it hurts so much to say it, but my mom or my dad could die tomorrow, and I don't think I would cry. And I'm not bothered by that either. If Zach or Anis did, yeah, that'd be a big fucking deal in my life. But my mom and my dad, No. Muffin, stop. Um, my oldest brother only calls me for money, and my sister is either drunk or high or at a casino every day of the week. And I tried. I'm 20 years old. I didn't just give up today. I didn't just say, oh, you know what, whatever. I really did try. I loved each and every one of you. I loved you, Obeid. If you love something, prove it. Stream is going to be canceled today, by the way, because I have not eaten something in like 2 days now. So I don't have the energy for it. I went to bed last night at 10 o'clock and I slept for like 15 hours. I just woke up right now. Anis was supposed to make dinner and he just didn't make dinner. So have an awesome day. And as always, I will see you when I see you.